All right, good morning, and thank you all for coming. Today is June 26, 2018, 9:33 a.m., and I will now call this rulemaking hearing to order. My name is Elizabeth Taylor. As the General Counsel of the State Board of Education and their designated representative, I will be presiding today at this hearing. This rulemaking hearing is the opportunity for the State Board of Education to gather stakeholder feedback regarding Rule 0520-14-01-.05 of the Rules of the State Board, which establishes the guidelines for the authorizer fee process. In 2017, the Tennessee General Assembly passed Public Chapter 307, known as the Tennessee Quality Charter Schools Act. This rule was drafted pursuant to the Act and presented to the Board for first reading in April in order to provide clarity and consistency to the charter school authorizer fee process. Specifically, the rule allows local boards of education that serve as the chartering authority of a charter school to receive an annual authorizer fee that is a percentage of the charter school's per student state and local funding. The authorizer fee to be collected by the local board of education is set forth in statute as 3% or $35,000 per student, whichever is less. The rule also clarifies how local boards can use the annual authorizer fees. It outlines the annual authorizer fee report and outlines the requirements for excess funds collected by a local board of education. With that brief explanation of the rule, I will now move into the public comment portion of the hearing. During the public comment portion, please proceed to the front and where the chair is. You can either stand or sit in the chair, whichever is more comfortable for you. Please state your name, your organizational affiliation, if any, before making your comment. Each person will be limited to 5 minutes to allow time for as many interested individuals to comment as possible. After those who signed up to speak have given their comments, I will then allow anyone who is unable to sign up on the sign-up sheet prior to the commencement of the hearing and who would like to comment the opportunity to do so. If I have any questions for an individual who has commented, I will ask the question after his or her time to speak has elapsed. So the first person I have signed up to speak is Mia Howard. Good morning, Ms. Howard.
Good morning. So my name is Mia Howard. I represent Intrepid College Prep Schools here in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to make comment today. As charter school leaders, it is a priority to have a transparent, equitable, and accountable relationship with the LEA in order to ensure the longevity of the public school system. We believe the State Board of Education will play an important role in promulgating rules that will add clarity to the Tennessee High Quality Charter Schools Act, Public Chapter 307, and the provisions related to the collection of an annual authorizer fee. The Act, as written, gives the district latitude to spend more broadly than we believe is legal under Section 49, Chapter 13 of the Tennessee Code. The objective of the following recommendations is to create a collective understanding between each LEA and charter school of justifiable costs of the authorizer fee. Through revised language of the SBOE charter school rules, the result will be increased alignment, consolidation, and more narrowly defined provisions of the rule. Ultimately, we believe the result of these recommendations will be appropriate allocations of state and local per pupil funding, ensuring that dollars flow to classrooms and students where they are needed most. We have 3 recommendations for the rule. One is to rewrite Section 5, which deals with authorizing obligations. The second is to align expenses to authorizing obligations. And the third is to specify that the collection of funds is how the district will collect the authorizer fee versus the withholding of funds. Relating to the rewrite of Section 5, the first recommendation is to make clear that these are costs that tie back to the authorizing obligations, not just the authorizer obligations, which one may call authorizer obligations, but obligations involving its core function of authorizing charter schools. The following are justifiable costs because they are directly related to the core function of authorizing high-quality charter schools. We recommend the authorizing obligations to include the following: reviewing charter applications, which ties back to section 13, 106, 107, and 108, allocation and distribution of funds to charter schools pursuant to section 112, inclusion in the annual report what transportation plans are in effect for charter schools, tying back to section 114D, a review of annual public charter school performance reports, section 120, a review of renewal applications, section 121B, interim review of charters every 5th year, section 121D, submission of performance reports to charter schools only in the year before renewal, section 121E, responsibilities to revoke charters in extreme situations, 122B, creation of procedure to close charter schools and communications, read the same in section 130, respond to requests from charters for directory information, section 132, and reporting of vacant and underutilized properties owned or operated by the LEA pursuant to section 136. The revised authorizing obligations under paragraph 5 are then consolidated, specific, and clearly aligned to the duties of authorizing a school. These revisions will eliminate unrelated expenses while also narrowly defining what justifiable costs attach to the authorizer fee, which we ultimately believe will uphold transparency, equity, and accountability between the LEA and authorized schools. Our second recommendation is to align expenses to authorizing obligations. So in addition to rewriting the rule, we recommend further accountability through a reporting document that directly connects the new authorizing obligations to payroll and expenses. Each expense is itemized then into 3 categories: payroll authorizing expenses, independent contractor authorizing expenses, and miscellaneous authorizing expenses. We actually have a proposed report by LEA of authorizing fees and expenses, if that is helpful. And then lastly, our third recommendation ties back to the collection and return of funds. In reference to obtaining the fee, the current language in the Tennessee High Quality Charter Schools Act states the district shall collect versus the district shall withhold. We request to keep the 100% pass-through in place and that each charter school will cut a check back to the districts on the same schedule that we currently receive BEP payments. The process will ensure an accurate account of ADM and thus an accurate collection or calculation of fees owed. In reference to unused authorizer fees, our revised rules outline the timely and accurate redistribution of fees by August 1st. This rule provides not only accountability, but also could provide much needed services to each school
You have 1 minute.
and its students by the beginning of the academic year. So in conclusion, we believe that these 3 recommendations, a rewrite of section 5, aligning expenses to authorizing obligations, and making a distinction between the collection versus the withholding of funds, will help Tennessee take a step forward in creating a lasting relationship with the state and districts in which we operate based on the values of transparency, equity, and accountability. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I was trying to take a lot of notes, but do you happen to have like all of the references that you had for section 5? Might be helpful for us to just to have that in writing.
Yeah, I can email it to
Yeah.
you. Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. We appreciate your comment, and it will be taken into consideration and provided to the board.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I have Elaine Swafford.
Yes, I will pass for now, thank you.
Okay. Randi Dowell. Morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm Randi Dowell. I'm here representing KIPP Nashville. I think I'll start with saying at KIPP Nashville we value both transparency and collaboration with our local LEA and also with the State Board of Education. With that in mind, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come and speak and provide input into the rules. There are really 3 points that I'd like to make. First is that I'd encourage that the rules align all of the allowable spends with the duties of authorizing, and I would list those duties of authorizing as the actual authorizing of a charter, approving or denying a charter at the outset, monitoring annual reports. There are 2 types of annual reports designated in the law. One is an academic performance report. The other is a financial audit. The third is a 5-year, once in every 5-year obligation. So it's a 5-year performance review of the charter school, and then the fourth happens once every 10 years, and that's a decision whether to renew the charter or revoke the charter. And so I would encourage the board to write the rules in such a way that those 4 authorizing purposes are the central uses of the authorizing fee dollars, that anything above and beyond those would not be authorizing fees, but would be other types of services that are not directly related to authorizing. The second point that I'd like to make in section 5, paragraph F, there are 2, well, there's 1 point that I'd like to I think add for paragraph F, I guess section 2 or sentence 2 reads, currently authorizer fee report required by TCA 49-13-128C.